So hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 16 of our F1 Manager 23 save here on the channel. Now if you didn't watch the last episode, my god, go back and watch that one, because that is the closest we got to a podium, and it's got to be said it was some performance from our drivers. Esteban Ocon finishing P4, Pierre Gasly in P7, Checo Perez and Max Verstappen were P1 and 2 for Red Bull, but my word, are we starting to make some improvements on track. Thank you for a couple of the nice messages in the comments as well regarding the commentary. I'll keep trying to make it as entertaining as I possibly can, and this weekend can always bring the entertainment. Singapore, and look at that weather on Sunday. It's going to be raining on Sunday pretty badly. I would expect some safety cars. Hopefully we can adapt to the conditions very well. 63 laps around here. Let's just have a look at the strategies. It's a 2-stop when it's dry, can be a 1-stop, but it's going to be wet. It's going to be very, very flexible from a strategy point of view. Just to bring you up to date with a couple of other things. In terms of car parts development, we have probably got 1 or 2 car parts coming onto the car before the end of the season. We are looking at next season's car as well now. I'm very confident that next season we're going to have a car that can fight for wins and podiums on a regular basis if we stay at Andretti. I think if we beat Mercedes, there's possibly an argument to go to Mercedes and try and do the life after Toto sort of save as well. So we've got a couple of options there to do, but that's just bringing you up to date on the developments. But apart from that, we've got contracts expiring. Esteban Ocon, we're still reserving judgment on him, but obviously had a fantastic performance in Monza. Carry that form on, going to be very difficult to get rid of him. And staff-wise, Alan Parmain, we've got to get this man tied up. We will do by the end of the season, I'm sure. But that's everything. I'm going to get through practice, and I will see you in qualifying for the Singapore Grand Prix. Final laps in Q2, and we are on under the cosh a little bit here. Esteban Ocon is green through the first and second sectors. Can he improve enough to get himself into Q3? Esteban Ocon crosses the line, goes P11. Now we are relying on Pierre Gasly. Only P15. Didn't have the best of first runs. Can he manage to get himself into Q3? Are we going to have both cars knocked out in Q2? Pierre Gasly only good enough for P15. That is making me consider possibly some engine penalties for Pierre Gasly. We'll have a little look at that. But Esteban Ocon in P11, very, very close indeed. Ocon is outperforming Gasly at this moment. So if we just fast forward now and have a look how the grid is going to be shaping up. I didn't think this track would suit us, in all honesty. Lance Stroll has had the pace all weekend, by the way. He would have been on pole position apart from that grid penalty. So Alonso will be on pole from Perez, and Leclerc and Verstappen on the second row. We might have a look at some grid penalties for Pierre Gasly. Let's have a look at the strategy for Sunday. Right then, guys, this is going to be some Grand Prix. Let's just have a little look at Esteban Ocon. I'm using a very colourful race strategy today, and this is as the reason why. Because if we look at the track graph, around lap 18, lap 19, that's when the rain's going to start coming, but it's going to be heavy, heavy rain, probably monsoon conditions. It looks like it should be wets at that point, but then it's going to be a quick change back to winter. Might be a couple of, 10 laps maybe on the wets, then back to intermediates, and then back to dry running. Whether we go to wets or into straight away is something I'm going to have to just adapt to in the race. We've got it terribly wrong in previous episodes, so I'm hoping we get it right. But both cars starting on the soft. We've took plenty of fuel out because obviously these wet conditions, driving a little bit slower. But let's see how we get on. P9, P15, no grid penalties for Pierre. Let's get to 5 red lights for the Singapore Grand Prix.
Final checks have been carried out on the grid, and it won't be long until we get underway. There's a chance for Esteban Ocon to show what he can do here.
Their Formula One start tally reaches 150 here today. Let's hope it's a race to remember.
But remember, anything can happen in Formula One. And this is it, the Singapore Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
And away we go, and straight away we're going to look at this battle at the front, because Checo Perez has got a fantastic start. He's going to have the inside line into turn 1. They nearly come together, but it's good racing as Alonso and Perez go at it, and Checo Perez has the lead. Meanwhile, Esteban Ocon, not the best of starts for him. He's up against Lance Stroll, who, to be fair, is going to be making his way through the pack pretty quickly, I would imagine. Like I said, we have took 6.6 kilos out of fuel, but straight away, Esteban Ocon doing his utmost to attack Lance Stroll at the moment. Pierre Gasly sat behind an Audi and a Mercedes of George Russell, but of course pushing early doors here. Let's have a look at the tyre strategies here, because there's a lot of cars on medium, few on softs as well. Ocon on soft will be looking to attack, especially the two Hasses. The two Hasses had a fantastic day. Let's have a little look at what Esteban Ocon's managed to do here as he overtakes Lance Stroll. Esteban Ocon on his 150th Grand Prix. I mean, what a move that is. Have a bit of that, Lance Stroll, but I would imagine Lance Stroll gets that position back here, which he does. It was short-lived from Esteban Ocon. No, it wasn't, because he's still side by side with the Canadian driver. As we switch to the television camera, he's doing an absolute great bit of work here. Here's Esteban Ocon as they are side by side through most of this street circuit, and now they close up. Will ride on board with Esteban Ocon so you can get his point of view, attacking the Aston Martin and getting past the Aston Martin. Lance Stroll is up into P9. Pierre Gasly still in P15, looking at the back of another Mercedes of George Russell. Safety car deployed. Esteban Ocon asking if he's all right, and it is the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. Let's have a little look at what happens here. He just spins off them. Wow, that is a big, big shunt for the Ferrari driver. You can see the Andretti getting past there and his teammate Carlos Sainz. So safety car, early doors, the Ferrari garage heading hands up here for the Scuderia Ferrari. But this is not too bad for us. It allows us to conserve the fuel a little bit, conserve the tyres, get the ERS charged fully back to what it should be. It just helps the softs get to the wet period, just in case the wet period doesn't come exactly when we think it will. We've had another car spinning off by the looks of it. Pierre Gasly's just got the notification. I'm not quite sure who that was, but Pierre did just manage to get up into P14 as well before that highlight, so he's now up into P13 ahead of George Russell, sorry. Ocon is up into P8 behind Lewis Hamilton, and we know that we can probably attack these 3 or 4 cars in front of us. Esteban Ocon will come back when we're back to green flag running. Safety car is ending, and Checo Perez will lead us away. We've saved 3 kilos on fuel there, by the way, so that's just sorted that bit out. But here comes Checo Perez as the restart. It's not a bad one for him. Alonso, what we've got to be wary of here is when it comes to the wet period, our cars at the moment are, what, maybe 6 seconds? So we've got to be wary of the double stack. I mean, we're expecting rain in, what, about 10 laps time, maybe a little bit less than that. The gamble of whether to go on to wets or intermediates is something that we've got to take note of as well. According to the track details, I would say anything above here is probably wets. Let's just watch this overtake from George Russell on Pierre Gasly. We are pushing on at this restart, but George Russell, opportunistic move into turn 1. Pierre Gasly sticks at the side of him, but George Russell, Mercedes versus Andretti, gets the better of old Pierre there, which is not ideal. But yeah, that's what we're looking at this moment. I reckon anything above sort of this line is wets, but we'll see what happens. I might take a cue from Red Bull. They tend to get it absolutely spot on most of the time. But Esteban Ocon at the moment just chilling in with Hamilton, making sure he's in striking distance, and Pierre Gasly in with George Russell. Lap 6. And our cars have not had the best restart here because Lance Stroll has gained a position. To be fair, I expect that Aston Martin to be much further up than it possibly is doing at this moment in time. Lance Stroll doing particularly well there, getting past Esteban Ocon. We will just tag on to these at this moment. I'm not too concerned. This race has got a long, long way to go, but lap 7, Ocon is down to P9. Joining us back on lap 10, Esteban Ocon is doing okay. He's lost a position to Carlos Sainz, but he's managing to stay with him. Meanwhile, Bottas and Gasly are really going at it here, the Audi and the Andretti. They've been side by side for most of this lap, but Valtteri Bottas managing to get the job done and stay in front, but Pierre Gasly just can't make his way through. It's not been his circuit this afternoon so far, or this weekend to be fair, but Esteban Ocon tagging onto the back of the Ferrari nicely. We're just keeping an eye on the tyres now because we are aware of when this rain is coming, but Gasly is there. 3.5 seconds is the gap between Russell and Ocon. Gap from Ocon to Gasly is around, what, 4 seconds? So we should be able to get them both in on the same lap if we choose to. The problem with that is Esteban Ocon has a terrible stop. I mean, it's really bad news for Pierre Gasly, but we'll monitor that. But lap 11, Perez still leads from Alonso. Verstappen is lurking in P3, and then there's a 4-second gap to Magnussen and this next gaggle of cars, which includes Esteban Ocon. And we have a red flag on circuit. I'm not quite sure what's happened. Alonso and Perez has happened. This is the battle for the lead early in Singapore, and it is Perez and Alonso. This has caused a red flag. Both cars are out of the Grand Prix from running P1 and 2. That is a huge incident in this race, and we will start from a red flag. The rain is coming down heavy, and we are starting. I would imagine in real life we would have gone for a rolling start here, but we've chosen to have a proper restart, and both of our cars are starting on the wet compounder tyre. We can push on the fuel, we can push on absolutely everything here. Esteban Ocon is now in at P8. Pierre Gasly is in P10, but straight away, look at this. My word, is this all very, very messy into turn 1. And the rain is absolutely coming down. We just need to have a quick look at the track details now, because we're expecting this to go to Inters, then into the softs. We don't get this information on the restart screen. I may have been tempted to start on intermediates at this. But yeah, most cars on intermediates, we're on wets, and by not having the information which we should have on the restart screen, we've been absolutely screwed here. That is abysmal, because we really should get that information. We don't get this screen. We do not get this, and that has led to us making the wrong strategy call, and it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. I don't complain about this game much, but we've got to complain about that. But Esteban Ocon now, yeah, should be flying up the pack early doors. We've got to make moves. We've got to make aggressive moves now and dig ourselves out of this hole, which, by not having the accurate information, we are so very much in. Lap 13. And Esteban Ocon very much is making moves. He's now past Nico Hülkenberg. Esteban Ocon is up into P3 at this moment in time. I am wondering whether we could possibly hold on for dry compound tyres. That is my only thought at this moment, because, I mean, Alpine and Gasly are carving the way through the field like you've never seen. We're expecting more rain in a moment. I mean, look at that. He's past Magnussen like he's not even there, Esteban Ocon. We are just pushing like mad to get as big a gap as we possibly can. Awesome. And once we do that, run away. That's the plan at this moment. We saw that live. We'll look at Pierre Gasly's, because we didn't get to see that live, as Pierre Gasly's getting backed up massively here. But Pierre Gasly's up into P6. Ocon has just overtaken Verstappen for the lead, and he's just got to bolt away now. This is it. We've got to just run for the hills on these tyres, and then we're going to have to make a pit stop. But I'm absolutely fuming on what we've been done here. But let's have a little look at this. Ocon round the outside of Max Verstappen. It's lovely work from him. If anything, at this moment, we look like we've got the tyre choice right. But obviously, when it goes to Inters, we're going to start dropping like a stone, which is not ideal at all. But Pierre Gasly now up in P5. We're not going to be shy to go onto these intermediate tyres when we need to. But at the moment, we are now leading the race by 1.5 seconds, Esteban Ocon. He's got to keep pushing like you've never seen to build this gap to Max Verstappen. Pierre Gasly is still working his way through. And next up, he's got a move to make on the Haas of Nico Hülkenberg. And here he is down the inside. Fantastic work from him. And he is through up into P4. Right. Pierre Gasly has overtaken Max Verstappen into turn 1. Fantastic work from him. We may have to play a team game here, but Pierre Gasly, fantastic work. He is up into P2. That's fantastic. What's also fantastic is Esteban Ocon, he's 9 seconds up the road from his teammate. That is very good as well. If we have a look at the leader, if we were to pit now, we'd come out in P10-ish. On much better intermediate tyres, something to bear in mind. So maybe we can make this work. We just need our guys to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and as soon as the lap times change, that's when we're going to go on to intermediates, because there's going to be a decent inters period before we go onto the softs. Lap 16, it's not all lost yet. Right, guys, we've got to come in. It's just switched to the inters period, and Ocon is into the pits. I'm expecting to come out around P6, P7 on these fresh intermediate tyres. Then we are going to have a good 20 lap stint on these, and hopefully then we then go on to the soft compound tyre at the end. But in we are. Esteban Ocon has built himself a fantastic lead. We need good pit stops, 2.98. Fantastic work from Esteban Ocon's pit team. And now it is Pierre Gasly. He's onto the intermediates as well. It's a decent stop for both cars. Esteban Ocon is out. Where is he out? Is Esteban Ocon? We see Lando Norris. Are we going to manage to get out in front of the McLaren? We certainly are. Esteban Ocon into P4 and on much better intermediate tyres. Gasly's down in P10. Not worked for him, but both cars now should have a tyre advantage. And we are going to be very, very aggressive now with both cars and really get motoring. But Esteban Ocon is still very much in the fight for a podium today. Don't you guys doubt it. Lap 26, we have been chasing Nico Hülkenberg. We couldn't get past. And now Lando Norris has managed to get past, as it were a lovely move from Lando, to be fair, down the inside of Esteban. We're looking at the tyres for the final stint, whether it's going to be mediums or hards. That is the gamble we have got to look at. But at the moment, we're managing Bastia, we're managing everything, just trying to make sure that when we do pit, we're going to be in the best position we possibly can. So we've been aggressive, we've been light, we've been everything. Managing these tyre temps is absolutely crucial at this moment. We are expecting around lap 36 for the pit stops, but we are still very much in this for a podium today. Don't you doubt it. Pierre Gasly has got George Russell up into P9, got the inside line and got the job done as we went on to the start-finish straight. Fantastic work from Pierre. He's got a full battery now. When we go on to the when we go on to the dry compound tyre, I should say, we will be absolutely hitting it. It looks like he's actually still fighting for this position. We cannot keep these tyres in temperature at the moment on either car. We're really struggling. Every time we try to be a little bit aggressive, we do lose time and positions. But Esteban Ocon now is tucked up behind Lewis Hamilton. He's dropped to P6. But I'm confident if we get this strategy right at the end, which this is what we're looking at, if we just have a little look at strategy A, this is what we're looking at. Go on to the mediums and then go all the way to the end. A safety car would be absolutely ideal around that time because then we get a cheap stop, but I'm not banking on it. Lap 30. Virtual safety car is out, and it was almost as though it's George Russell as well that's out, so let's just bear that in mind. But both of our cars are pitting for the medium compounder tyre. Let's just have a little look here. We're going to watch this crash from George Russell. Let's have a little look at what happens here. He's pushing to stay ahead of Pierre Gasly. We dropped back a little bit and he just went straight on into the barriers. That has caused the VSC. What that has meant is that we can now pit under VSC. In fact, I'd be amazed if everybody doesn't come in here. Let's have a little look at what happens. Is Magnussen coming in? Is Hülkenberg coming in? It looks like those guys are staying out. We are coming in with Ocon, and Gasly's coming in as well. So this is a huge, huge part of this race. We need the pit stop of pit stops again here. We had to bring both cars in under this VSC. It was absolutely massively important that we did. Let's hope that we don't get held. Esteban Ocon is in. Looks a decent-ish stop. Does it? No, he's held, he's held, he's held. This is shocking from the Alpine pit crew. What on earth are you guys doing? Pierre Gasly does get a decent stop. To be fair, we've not actually lost. We have lost a lot there. We have lost a hell of a lot there. And that is shocking from our guys, especially on Esteban Ocon's car. I don't know what went wrong there. We're going to probably get a replay. But both of our cars will come out P9 and P12 on track. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars still yet to pit. A lot of cars have gone hards when we have gone for mediums. So we are very much doing the strategy differently today. We'll come back when we're back to green flag running. We are back to green flag running, and this is it. We are pushing on fuel. We are pushing on everything. This is the time now. We've still got cars who have not pit on circuit. Magnussen, Norris and Hamilton haven't pit. Esteban Ocon, let's have a little look at the gap. It's a 5-second gap. That pit stop has really, really cost Esteban Ocon and also cost Pierre Gasly, because Pierre Gasly, well, he's going to be up into what, P9, P10, possibly. If we can put in a couple of decent laps here, you never know. But lap 38, it's P8 and P11. Right, a few cars have pit, and Kevin Magnussen is one of them. He's onto the medium tyres, but he's fighting with Esteban Ocon, and Esteban Ocon is past him. Meanwhile, Norris and Hamilton have been dispatched, so Esteban Ocon now is 3 seconds behind Lance Stroll, And Pierre Gasly, it looks like he's fighting tooth and nail with Lando Norris, and he certainly is. Fair play to Pierre Gasly. That is a lovely overtake. I'm hoping we're going to get a replay of this. Let's just see if we possibly do. But Gasly in for some good scoring points today. It's whether Esteban Ocon can look at catching Lance Stroll. Let's just have a little look at this this overtake from Pierre Gasly, getting the move done down the inside. It's fantastic work from Pierre. He's been fantastic. Didn't have the best qualifying, but certainly on Sunday showing his class. And Esteban Ocon, again, he's fighting at the very, very front of the field. If we could get to these guys in front on these medium tyres, maybe we could get in the DRS. That's the plan, lap 40. And Pierre Gasly has done fantastically well, but then Lando Norris seems to have got the car in the window that he wants it now, and with DRS, we didn't really stand a chance down that start-finish straight. We didn't have it, Lando did, and Lando's looking to P8. Magnussen and Ocon going at it. That DRS is exceptionally powerful. I'd rather him not lose that much time behind these guys. I'd rather him just share the DRS out and keep ahead of Hamilton and Norris behind, because that is really the problem at this moment in time. As you can see, going side by side, I think Magnussen does in the end get in front of him, which he certainly does. If we just have a look, they're still going at it. I don't want Hamilton and Norris catching us. Pierre Gasly's looking like he's just going to drive a race of his own now towards the end. But Esteban Ocon, I'm not too fussed if he just basically swaps the DRS with Magnussen. That'd be ideal. Lap 44, Verstappen is leading by 17 seconds, by the way. We may as well have a rundown of the top 10. It's Verstappen from Hülkenberg, then Sainz, Stroll, Ocon, Magnussen, Hamilton, Norris, Gasly and Albon make up the top 10. Then there's only 6 more runners. It's Bottas, Zhou, Piastri's in P13, Schumacher is in the Audi in P14. Then come the 2 Hugo Bosses. We've got 4 retirements today: Russell, Alonso, Perez and Leclerc. My word. And what is the worst thing that could have happened? This, because Esteban Ocon, who's not on aggressive overtaking, by the way, has gone for this move. He's ran the Haas off the circuit. He's ran himself off the circuit. He's got front wing damage. He's going to have to come in onto a set of softs, maybe? Would that get us to the end? That's something we need to have a little look at here. Let's just pause that for a second, just while this is happening. Is soft going to get us to the end? That is the question we need to ask. We need to look at this. Let's have a little look. Will softs? It won't even let us do it. Let's just get rid of that. Will soft get us to the end? I think they will. Yep, that's it then. So, as we flick back to it, I don't normally show you that screen, but there we go. Esteban Ocon, if I can get back to the right screen, is going to be coming in this lap for some soft compounder tyres. When Esteban Ocon, it was all looking so promising. He's now down to P9, and Pierre Gasly can't really catch these guys in front. I would assume that Magnussen has got some damage as well, which he has, and he's slowing people down. This could be an opportunity for Pierre Gasly to get his foot down and catch up with these guys. Magnussen has a 5-second time penalty as well, so something to bear in mind there. But Pierre Gasly will hopefully start to catch these cars as they're held up behind this Haas. And in comes Esteban Ocon and Kevin Magnussen in P10 and 11, both in for new front wings. I'm guessing both in for soft compounder tyres. And it's got to be said, the pit crew really have knackered Esteban Ocon's race up today. It's not been good at all. It's an 8.6 second stop with the new front wing. And Esteban Ocon will trundle down the pit lane. Where are the Hugo Boss cars? Just coming around the final corner. We've actually jumped Magnussen in the pits. Ocon now is on soft compound tyres in P14. And the gap to Tsunoda is not going to be too much at all. So Ocon now just drive his own race. He's also got some damage on the suspension as well, which is absolutely not ideal. But this is it now. Esteban going to the end on that. Pierre Gasly in P7 just can't quite catch up to these guys in front, come what may. We have another safety car, but it's a virtual one this time. You can see there is Esteban Ocon closing in on the back of the Hugo Boss of Yuki Tsunoda. Very similar to what George Russell did. And Esteban Ocon will take that free position, I am sure. Is he going to catch the guys in front? These are still the best attired team in the whole grid as far as I'm concerned, by the way, this Hugo Boss side. Let me know what you think down in the comments about that Hugo Boss race team livery. But yeah, you look at Esteban Ocon now, what is he, 5 seconds to Piastri? He isn't going to get a point today. Pierre Gasly, 5 seconds to Lando Norris. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to make any grounds. P7 is looking like the position for Pierre Gasly. So we'll come back when we're back to green flag running. But Verstappen has had the easiest day in Singapore he's ever likely to have. Right then, guys, final lap of the Grand Prix. Pierre Gasly's just been nursing these tyres. It's not really made a difference this last 10 laps. It wouldn't have mattered if I'd have gone aggressive, if I'd have pushed with DRS or ARS or anything. There wasn't too much we're fighting for. But one fight that is going on is the fight for P4. Norris versus Hülkenberg versus Hamilton. I get the sense, ladies and gents, that if Ocon's pit stop hadn't been as bad as it was, that we would have managed to get a really, really positive result here today. Verstappen's crossed the line. He's already won it as Max Verstappen. Sainz and Stroll are fighting through the last couple of corners. Stroll is going to come home in P2. Lance Stroll has drove very, very well for Aston Martin this season. Possibly something to bear in mind for next. Lando Norris looks like he's got it just about covered off for P4. He's going to come home and get some good points from McLaren. Hülkenberg P5 for Haas is a decent result, as is Hamilton for Mercedes in P6. Mercedes down in P6. It's not the best for Mercedes once again, but they are going to extend their lead over us today when really they possibly shouldn't have. Pierre Gasly, he's done well today, kept his nose clean, not been hammered by pit stops, and Pierre Gasly will come home in P7. And Esteban Ocon still fighting with these guys. In fact, I just need to conserve on the fuel just to make sure that we do get home. But Esteban Ocon, as we just fast forward this on a little bit here, is he going to manage to gain a position? I don't believe he is. Esteban Ocon, he's going to come across the line in P13. Unlucky for some, unlucky for Esteban. It has not quite worked out for the Frenchman on his 150th start. It's 0 points for him. It could have been so very different. Let's get to the podium.
Lots of positives for Gasly to take away from this one.
That's a solid points finish, and all in all, a good drive for them today.
And no doubt, Verstappen fans will be celebrating the Dutchman's achievement.
There really doesn't seem to be a way to stop them winning this year. Amazing consistency.
Is there any beating Max Verstappen? Lance Stroll is a driver that is intriguing me. Let's just have a little look at the standings. As we saw, Max Verstappen from Lance Stroll and Sainz, Norris, Hülkenberg and Hamilton P6, and Gasly in P7, gaining 8 places, by the way. Sainz gaining 9. Bottas P8, that's a decent result for Audi, and the Williams both scoring points. We had 5 retirements: Tsunoda, Russell, Perez, Alonso and Leclerc. Some big names in the retirements in Singapore. Let's have a little look at the driver's standings. Lance Stroll's up to P3 now in the driver's standings. Max Verstappen leads it by 100 points from Checo Perez. I like it when it's a round number like that. I don't have to do any quick maths when I'm doing it. If we go down, Pierre Gasly re-overtakes Esteban Ocon into P9. Lewis Hamilton, the only Mercedes driver, scoring points today. Constructors standings wise, Red Bull are leading by 200 and something points from Aston Martin. Ferrari in P3, Mercedes P4. We stay in P5. Haas actually get closer to Williams. That's going to be an interesting fight for P6. But we are, what, 83 points behind Mercedes. It possibly is doable. I think we could maybe catch them, but we will see. Next up is Suzuka. I believe we've got another wet race in store according to the early weather forecast, so that'll be a good one. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Ta-ra!